8 lessons from the story of Samson about assumptions. Assumptions kill. Never let your assumptions mislead you. They have caused wars, heartbreaks in relationships, divorces, and losses in businesses. The story of Samson in Judges chapter 14, 15, and 16 gives us an object lesson about assumptions. Just a little background to the story. God gave Manoah and his wife, who was barren, a son, and they named him Samson. Samson grows up, he falls for a Philistine woman. Though his parents were against it, the Bible reveals that God was for it. So, lesson 1: don't judge people depending on your assumptions. Just because it looks wrong in your eyes doesn't mean that it's all wrong. God has a purpose for them too. Walk your own journey. Be humble. So together, they arranged to go and see the girl. On the way, Samson tears apart a fierce lion that wanted to attack them. They didn't see it, nor did he tell them. Lesson 2: do not assume that anyone that you have met on your life's journey has not done anything or sacrificed anything for you just because you can't see it. Some have risked their lives. They just won't tell you. So be humble. So time came for Samson to go pick his wife. He was given 30 male companions to whom one day he told a riddle. If they would solve it, he gave them a bet. Unfortunately, they instead subjected his bride to lure him into telling her the solution to the riddle, or otherwise they were to kill her father and herself. So on the 7th day, Samson told the answer to the bride after overcrying. So she shared the same answer to these men. But Samson surely knew that her wife was under duress. Lesson 3: do not assume someone doesn't know what you have done or said about them. Just because they let it pass and allow your way through, don't brag. Sometimes you just need to apologize to them. It is not that you are so cunning. It is rather because they are wise and patient. So don't make a fool of yourself. Be humble. So Samson left Timnah very angry and returned to his father's home. Later, he came back for his wife, only to be told by his father-in-law that he gave her out to one of his companions because he thought Samson hated her. Lesson 4: do not assume you know how truly people feel. Just because they are not in good terms with their spouses, or friends, or workmates, or parents, or siblings, or relatives, doesn't necessarily mean that they hate them. Oh, there's no room for reconciliation. First, keep your reactions to yourself, your advice, your words, and so prudent actions. Exercise wisdom, brother. Assumptions often mislead. Then the father-in-law proposed to Samson to instead take the young sister, for she was more attractive. Lesson 5: do not assume that everyone should have the same taste of preference like yours. What's cool in your eyes ain't cool to me. Not everyone is after riches, or fame, or beauty. After all, even beauty is said to lie in the hands of the beholder. God blessed every man with the freedom of choice, so respect that and be wise. Therefore Samson lost his temper again and sought a vengeance. He captured 30 foxes, tied them up in pairs with torches of burning flames on their tails, then released them in the fields of the Philistines, burning down their corn, olive, and vineyards. The Philistines inquired of who had done so. Learning it was Samson, avenging for his wife being given to another man, the Philistine leaders organized to kill both Samson's father-in-law and the daughter, maybe thinking that it would please him. But it rather got him more furious. For this, Samson went and killed many men among the Philistines. So lesson 6: do not assume you know other people's preferred course of action against those that hurt them. for you don't know how much they love them. Fight your own wars. If I have not asked for help, please avenge not on my behalf, just because you want to make me happy. Mind your own damn business. Exercise wisdom. Assumptions kill. Thereafter, Samson went to live in a cave, and the Philistines came and surrounded Judah, demanding for Samson, for they ruled over Israel at the time. So 3,000 men of Judah went to arrest him. All he asked of them is to promise that they would not kill him themselves, but deliver him to the Philistines. Agreeing, so they tied him up in new ropes. When the Philistines saw him, they ran towards him shouting, but the Holy Spirit came powerfully over him, that the ropes became as flax burnt with fire. So he broke loose his hands, grabbed a fresh donkey jawbone, and with it killed 1,000 of men alone. Lesson 7. Do not assume a fool of someone. Just because their hands are tied up, it doesn't mean they are powerless. Just because they fold their hands and keep quiet doesn't mean they are stupid. Confuse not humility for naivety. They know what they are capable of. For what it is worth, at least they know whom they serve. Go slow. You may deliver yourself in a trap where his mysteries will work wonders against you. So relax. Assumptions kill. Towards the end of Samson's story, he had loved Delilah, whom the Philistines bribed to lure him into disclosing his source of strength and how it can be subdued. She enticed him till he disclosed that God had instructed that his hair was never to be cut off. Then she made him sleep on her laps, cut off his hair, and the Philistines came and captured him, for the Spirit of the Lord had disappeared, leaving Samson powerless. Lesson 8. Do not mistake their care or pampering for love. Some praise you with hidden agendas. Do not fall for their lures. Some are just around you to help them achieve their selfish purpose. Tread softly, my friend. Do not lose sight of the ones that actually truly care. Exercise wisdom. Now they plucked out his eyes and praised their gods. At a party to Mary, they asked the blind Samson to entertain them. He later asked to be helped to lean against the pillars that held firm the hole. At that point, he repented and asked God for one last chance of strength to avenge for his eyes, which prayer God granted. He then shook the pillars, and the roof came trembling down. Thus he died with them, all the lords and elders of the Philistines, and over 3,000 men and women. So he slew more at death than in all his lifetime. Lesson 9. Do not assume it's done. You really don't know how the story will end for anyone, for you are but not their creator. Never celebrate someone's downfall. Just because they have fallen doesn't mean they won't rise again. For everyone sinner, grace is sufficient. You don't want to be a victim of God's action, mothered by his sufficing grace to his child. The moral of the story is that assumptions are deadly. They mislead. Avoid acting on assumptions. Always abide in faith, hope, love, but remember, love transcends. See you in the next episode.